Warm, sunny days are coming, and Lansing Community College is ready to give your child a summer of serious fun. The LCC Youth Summer Camps are now enrolling. There's a camp to spark every child's interest, from exploring Michigan wildlife to battling robots to film and animation. Full and half-day sessions are held at LCC East. Plus, there's before and after care, so it's convenient for parents too. More than 25 camps are available. View them all and register at lcc.edu/seriousfun. That's lcc.edu/seriousfun.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-452-8142. 800-452-8142. 800-452-8142. That's 800-452-8142.
Hey, listen to me. I'm one of the credit cards in your wallet. I'm about to explode and pop like a balloon. You're using me and my brothers way too much. Your credit cards aren't the only ones annoyed. It's your paycheck that doesn't have enough to pay everything. Save your credit cards, your paycheck, and yourself a lot of PAIN. Pain. Call the debt helpline now, not tomorrow, right now. Our experts will show you how you can cut your interest rates and your payments on your credit cards in half. Credit card companies have special assistance programs designed to help you. Make this 100% free call right now and learn how you could get out of credit card debt. Here's the number.
800-915-6831. 800-915-6831. 800-915-6831. That's 800-915-6831. Paid for by Zero Debt.
It's the Sunday Chronicle on Stax 92.1. It's the Sunday Chronicle. We gon' give the news and keep you up to date. Correct. From crimes to the politics, you gon' know what's up about your way. We give 2 thumbs up to everyone out here doing their thing. We gon' show man love to all the ones working hard in communities. It's the Sunday Chronicle.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Yanice Carter, coming from you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for community because community knows what community... Wait. Did I mess up my tagline again?
Mess up your tagline.
Because community knows. Wait, you know what? Oh my gosh, how did I do that? We're gonna just move. Community needs. Community knows what community needs. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting more seasoned, or far further along in my age. I'm not gonna claim. Well, anyway, we're gonna move forward. And I'm going to thank all of my listeners and followers for being here once again on the Sunday Chronicle. And we have a very special treat today. But before we move to our first guest, I want to thank my co-host, Span, to my right. Thank you for being here again, Span.
Thank you for screwing up so I can make fun of you later.
And this is the second time, but that's okay. I guess I'm a little nervous because we have such a big presence today. That's what it is. Yes.
11 of them.
Yes, right. I know. Yes, I'm just I'm so happy to have our guest here. Mr. William Lawrence is here, and he is just here to share some of some things about his campaign, some things about him as a person in general. And we're going to talk about them attack ads, y'all, because look, I'm going to tell you, I was sitting in the nail shop and I must have seen that commercial about 20 times. I said, wow, how much money did they spend to have these ads? And they're like really fancy ads. So
$800,000.
$800,000. And going into that, William, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Yanice. It's a pleasure.
And tell me a little bit about you, because when I have my guest here, I want to know about the person, right? I want to, you've been to like thousands of interviews, probably, it feels like it at least, with the campaign and whatnot. And then people are like, well, what are your priorities? And I want to talk about Will, because I think if we know about Will, the type of person we're dealing with, maybe we'll know, what's likely to happen when Will, that person, gets into office according to how he does things, his moral values, his priorities. So tell me a little bit about you, your background, where you're from, and how you really live in this area.
Do you play basketball? Ha ha ha!
I quit back when I was shorter. Bad life choices. I didn't know I was going to get this tall.
Oh, wow.
But I am 6'6". My name's Will Lawrence. I was raised in East Lansing. I live downtown Lansing near LCC.
Like, you actually live here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do, yeah. On Genesee Street.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I'm someone who, when I was growing up, I was really, I guess, hurt by the violence and suffering I saw in the world, and I just didn't know why, if people are so smart and creative and loving, why it is that we also do so much harm and violence to each other. And I've just been trying to do everything I can to do right all the way through.
You're very active, right? You're very active in the community because you're, when we first met, you told me about the different organizations that you're serving. Tell me a little bit about that, Will.
Sure. I spent about a dozen years very focused on making a healthy climate and environment so that we can all have clean air to breathe, clean water to drink. I was able to have some success, pass policy in D.C. that's about delivering good jobs, creating a more healthy economy and environment here in Michigan and across the country. But more recently, I've been focused on the cost of housing because the rent is too damn high.
And you were part of that group, right?
Part of that group, helped start that group, along with the Mid-Michigan Tenant Resource Center, which offers aid to tenants who are at risk of eviction, people who need help holding bad landlords accountable. We also do, through the Tenant Resource Center, outreach into the homeless encampments around town to help people find pathways to housing. In that housing work, I also serve on the the Ingham County Housing Trust Fund, which allocates money for affordable housing and homelessness services to organizations across the area. So we've been able to fund some very important projects like Reverend Stan Parker's housing homeownership pathway program that he runs through the Eastside Community Action Center,
very good.
Along with many others. So that's the kind of work I do, is about showing up, going to where the challenges are greatest, whether it's the global climate crisis or the cost of housing in our own community here in Greater Lansing, and then work with regular folks to build something better together.
And this is all before running for office. This is stuff that you just did because you, Will, the person, wanted to do. That's
right. And, I got to shout out my grandmother, was a big inspiration to me and my values. She was very devout Methodist, and she was just the sort of person who really asked, what would Jesus do? And then took that seriously in her life in a very simple and humble kind of way, which is about treating people with kindness and, just taking responsibility for one's own actions and speech, and then always trying to show love. So that's an example that I've tried to follow through my life.
That's very good. And so now you're running for Congress. And what I wanted to ask you is about what that entails, right? Because a lot of people, they've heard, I want to know your platform, but I want to know what that position entails and how you can help, or one in that position can help the community from that standpoint.
That's a great question. So on the issue of housing, there's a lot that needs to be done to deliver more resources to the organizations that are building and supporting tenants in this area. I mentioned the program at the ECAC. They've got an amazing program. They really know how to take people from being renters and then on the pathway, sometimes through credit repair, and then being able to become homeowners. They need a lot more resources to be able to do that. There are other organizations throughout our community that need more resources. So the federal government has, the power of the purse. And in Congress, I can fight for appropriations to deliver to this district. So all the people who are already doing really important work throughout the community can have the resources to match the scale of the challenge they're facing. But also, even regardless of what's happening in D.C., because we know that who knows if Democrats or Republicans will be in power, who knows who the president will be, and so there's different conditions we'll have to contend with. Regardless of all that, I get to open an in-district office that works to serve constituents. And that's one of the things I'm most excited about. I get to hire a staff that is about helping people connect to government services, whether that's getting their Social Security dealt with or their Medicare, their Medicaid, actually helping connect people to the services that are going to save their lives. For small businesses, it can mean helping to cut red tape and prevent some of the barriers that are regulatory burdens or whatever that is preventing people from being able to open or maintain their small business. That's the kind of stuff I'm really excited about.
So you're like a representative over a territory, and you go to bat for us on our behalf in Washington, D.C. That's right.
Go to bat in D.C. and then serve the community here in the district. Okay. Those are the two big parts of the job. So like that connector. Yeah. You're that representative. Exactly. And I wanted to paint that picture because I've heard so many people say, they don't know how this works. And, so I want to get to the heart of that. And I want to get to the heart of what the position entails and how people can get a hold of these representatives. Yeah. To make their concerns heard, right? To voice their concerns. And so tell me, Will, a little bit about your platform, right? And why you're running. And I know this is a very common question, but, we want to know because we want to know you, the candidate, and what kind of motivates you and inspires you to do this. Well, I'm focused on the basics that allow all of us to live a good life. That's healthcare that we can actually count on throughout our lives. That's housing that we can actually afford. It's defending Social Security, which is under attack, so that we can all actually retire someday. And it's childcare and early childhood education, so that parents can have a place to send their kids. Because right now we know that childcare is way too expensive, and it puts people in impossible positions. So the ability to have peace of mind, knowing that the basics are covered, is what I'm focused on when it comes to the economy. But in order to do that, we're going to need to change our priorities as a nation. Yeah. Because right now we're spending trillions of dollars on these endless wars overseas. We're sending billions to drop bombs on children in Gaza. We've got a ridiculous war in Iran started by our president, which is an utter disaster. And in the meantime, people can't even afford good housing and health care here in Lansing. It's a shame, and we need to set our priorities straight and reallocate our resources.
It's really great to see those that are fighting on behalf of others so we can have these basic needs and have a strong foundation. And that's kind of what I'm getting back to. That's kind of what I'm picking up from you as a candidate, as a person, just interacting with you the way I have. So what would be some of your goals if you were to get in office, like your first, 90 days? Yeah.
The number one goal is to hire that excellent in-district staff that is responsive to all communities, our rural communities, our urban communities, white, black, and brown, Spanish-speaking, other languages that are spoken in the district. We need to ensure that we have a staff that is able to be responsive and accountable to all of the communities across this very large district, which spans all the way from South Lyon to Eaton County, up north to Clinton County, south to Leslie, and everywhere in between.
You mean hire people who work in the community to help fix the community? What an idea!
Yeah, how about that? So I'm really, really excited about that part. So that's my top priority. And then when I go to D.C. and I'm fighting on policy there, the top priorities are going to be again working to restrain the out of control Department of War, Department of Defense budget, so that we can not go all the way up to $1.5 trillion, which is what they want to do next year. That's what Trump has proposed.
For the military. Our total budget is now $1.5 trillion.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable. We've got to set that straight. And then I'm really excited to fight for resources so that people can have good housing here in Lansing.
Well, you've been out so many places, and thank you. Just flashback for coming to the 40th anniversary. It's really nice to have you there.
It was a historic occasion. I was so glad to learn more about your parents and their leadership in starting the Chronicle, and it was a wonderful event.
I appreciate that. And And I'm really happy to see so many fine people running for office within Michigan to fight on behalf of what we need as a community and, as a whole. That is really exciting to me. So we are growing. The time is growing near.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you were doing all this stuff on behalf of people in the community with the housing and everything else. But what made you decide to make that jump to running for office? You were married at the time, right?
I'm still married.
So what I'm saying, it's one thing to make the decision before you get married. Now you're signing your wife up for this too.
Oh, yeah.
Famously, Michelle Obama did not want to join Obama on the campaign trail. So what made you decide that you would go home and ask your wife for the ability to help you do this massive, massive thing?
Yeah, I'll tell you just a very brief story because I was considering it. I said, I think that I could be a good representative for this community. Tom Barrett has got to go. He sure doesn't show up. I don't like the other options that are on the table for the Democratic primary, but it definitely is disruptive to my life, and so it was not an easy decision to make. But I was up north at a wedding for a couple of dear friends. It was near Petoskey, and they were getting married. And I was under instructions from the groom not to inform him if the United States bombed Iran and started a war during his wedding weekend because he was trying to enjoy his time. I'm like, which was a very reasonable request. But then I was out on the dance floor after the ceremony, beautiful wedding, and I opened my phone and it had happened.
Oh, no.
We were bombing Iran and people were wondering, are we going to have World War III? What's going to become of us? And so I was looking around at all these other dancing millennials on the dance floor, and I just thought, this is some kind of hell that we're living in. Our priorities are so messed up. And then I went home and I was back in the grind of the housing organizing, working with people who are facing evictions or in the homeless encampments here in Lansing. And it just really made clear to me how messed up our priorities are. And I said, this is going to be a sacrifice and it sure isn't going to be easy, but I'm ready to fight harder than I have ever before because the stakes are just too high right now.
And after your wife was done choking you, no, seriously, what convinced her ultimately?
She and I share so many of the same values, and she's been tremendously supportive of me. She does similar work in the community. It's about bringing people together and solving problems. And so, we love our time together, and so it wasn't an easy decision because we knew that it would mean we would have to be very busy and spend some time apart. But she heard that I was feeling called to do this, and I just love her so much. She's a huge support to me, and we've had a lot of fun times along the road, even in the midst of campaigning.
That's great. And I'm really excited about what's to come. Thank you for putting yourself out there because I know it's not easy. And I know you've probably been knocking tons of doors because you're looking super slim.
Oh, yeah. I have lost a little weight.
You look great. I'm like, wow. But I know doors will do that.
Yep.
Doors will do that. So with that, we want to thank you, Span. Do you have any more questions before we wrap it up with our wonderful...
questions, but you have a tattoo on your left hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This tattoo is, if you picture the mitten that's Michigan right there on your hand, I've got a tattoo right in the middle where Lansing belongs.
Oh, show the camera.
And yeah, there we go, right there. You see it?
Yeah.
And so this is when I was, I was in Philadelphia for my college, my undergraduate degree, and I lived in Philly for about 7 years. But when I was about 21 living out there, I started thinking about the Midwest. I started thinking about Michigan. I started thinking about home, and I remembered that Lansing was where home was. So I put this tattoo on my hand that was like my promise to myself to make it back home when I was living out east. And I did. I made it back, and there's nowhere I'd rather be.
That's awesome and dorky as hell.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you. And we're going to take a quick break, but not before reminding our listeners that this is the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Yanice Carter, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for community because community knows what community needs. We'll be back after this.
Election Day is August 4th.
Yes.
What is Recover Now? It's a movement to get clean and sober, started by you, friends and family members, or maybe even the person suffering from an alcohol or drug problem. Recover Now is a free service that helps people find treatment facilities covered by private insurance to help them start the road to recovery and succeed. If you or a loved one wants to recover now, call this number. It's a free call. Many of our treatment counselors have been exactly where you are, and they know what you're going through and how to help you get where you want to be. And that is on the road to recovery. With one free phone call, my specialist will check your insurance and help you get the best treatment for your needs. Remember, get clean, get sober. Use Recover Now as your free service. Here's the number.
800-936-5087. 800-936-5087. 800-936-5087. That's 800-936-5087.
I'm in my late 60s. My husband died a few years ago. He did all of our taxes. I sold a piece of property last year, and I forgot to claim the proceeds of the sale. Next thing I know, I got a letter from the IRS telling me that I owe over $50,000. Now I have a huge tax problem. I don't have that kind of money. I wish I knew who to call.
If you sold property in the last calendar year or didn't claim all of your part-time or even retirement income, you could be in big trouble with the IRS. Call first before they send you a letter. If you've already got a letter, call. We'll help you file years of past tax returns and save you time and money. So call the tax doctor. The call is confidential and free.
800-485-8801. 800-485-8801. 800-485-8801. That's 800-485-8801.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify. 800-910-6034. 800-910-6034. 800-910-6034. That's 800-910-6034.
Hi, this is Yanice Carter, Chronicle News publisher and editor, host of the Sunday Chronicle, and mom. I've recently published my second book under the Chronicle Publishing Company. It's called the I Know I Can coloring book. You can get this along with my first book, Notes from the Trail. You can purchase them online at www.thechroniclenews.com, Amazon.com, and everywhere books are sold. You can get the audiobook Notes from the Trail on bookbaby.com. And welcome back to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Yanice Carter, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. And I want to thank you for being sticking around to hear from our next very special guest. I have the pleasure to welcome Miss Jocelyn Benson. She is our current Secretary of State, and she is running for the Michigan governor's position. So thank you for being here today, Jocelyn.
Thanks for having me. Really thrilled to be chatting with you about these critical issues facing the future of our state.
Yes, and tell me why, Jocelyn, why did you decide to run for governor? That's a really big thing. I want to know a little bit about that.
Well, I'm running for governor because the job of the next leader of our state is to just make sure government is working well, saving people time, saving people money, making people's life easier, and also being willing and ready to stand up to anyone, no matter how wealthy or powerful, who would threaten our safety, our rights, our freedoms. And I think right now, I believe we are in the middle of a battle over the future of our safeties, our rights, our freedoms, our ability to afford to live in our own communities. And what we do now together is going to determine the future of all of those things for generations to come. So for me, as someone who moved to Detroit almost 25 years ago to clerk for Judge Damon Keith, I believe we also need a governor who will hold the powerful accountable and ensure the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And to me, as a mom as well, who's raising my kid here in Detroit where I live, making sure that his future and the future of our loved ones all across the state are prosperous, where you can get good paying jobs and buy homes in the communities you want to live in and be safe in those communities. All of that requires a governor who's going to fight for those things and fight to build a Michigan that we all can afford. And that's who I've been as Secretary of State, and that's who I'll be as the next governor of Michigan.
Yes. And so tell me a little bit about you, Jocelyn. I know you've probably been on tons of interviews and you've been talking about your platform. And it's important, I think, for the listeners to know about you as a person and the things that inspired you to run not only for governor, but before that with being the Secretary of State, what that entails and how you want to make things better for people.
Yeah, I love that. I am the daughter of special education teachers. I'm the wife of a veteran. I'm a mom of a 10-year-old little boy, and it's not lost on me that everything we do over the next 8 years is going to determine his future and his childhood and the future of our loved ones all across the state. From my parents, I learned how important it is to ensure everyone has a seat at the table, and how we all have a responsibility to ensure everyone has access to prosperity, no matter who they may be or where they may live. And because of that, I've really built a career before my time in public service in the civil rights field. I started my career in Montgomery, Alabama, investigating hate crimes around the country. And it was frankly being there, spending time in Selma, specifically, that I was instilled with a deep sense of responsibility to continue the work of those who stood at the foot of the Edmund-Pettus Bridge 60 years ago, facing down violence and tear gas and billy clubs, simply because they believed that the promise of equality and justice in our Constitution should be a reality for everyone. So that's why I moved to Detroit to say, what is the unfinished work of the civil rights movement today? What do we need to do to continue the work of those who fought before us? I believe ensuring that everyone has access to the power of their vote and their voice is critical in continuing that work. But it's not all the work. I also believe the unfinished work of the civil rights movement is economic prosperity for all. And so I try to build a career, whether it be as a civil rights advocate, as dean of Wayne State Law School in Detroit, as the founder of the Damon Keith Center for Civil Rights. I've tried to focus on standing up for the people over the powerful, showing up for overlooked communities, and listening and investing to create real opportunity, particularly for communities and people who feel left behind or left out of a system that they should have access to ensure they have also good paying jobs and access to wealth and capital and affordable pathways to home ownership and other types of opportunities to thrive.
Okay.
I'm the producer. I'm just jumping in to ask a question. You and the Attorney General and the Governor are part of a wall that was dealing with a lot of direct action from the federal government in the purpose and body of Donald Trump. And for you to decide that after all of that, I mean, probably the most heat from the federal government anyone in state government had ever dealt with for a swing state like Michigan, how is it that you took all of that and decided, no, I'm going to go right at the mouth of the dragon and take on the federal government directly as governor, like moving one step up the chain to get closer to all that heat? Like, what made you decide to make that move?
Well, I think two things. One, in this moment, the only thing standing in between the bad actors and the forces, the bullies who want to destroy our democracy and make us feel small and take away our power, the only thing standing in the way of that are state leaders and residents of states like Michigan who will stand up and say, not on our watch. And for me, even if it meant, as it has, as you mentioned, sitting in my home in Detroit, protecting my then 4-year-old son while people with guns assembled on my front lawn to try to intimidate me into overturning or allowing the president to overturn a legitimate election and then ignore the voice the voices and votes of Detroiters. I will proudly stand firm in defense of those voices and those votes up to anything, anyone, anytime who would try to take them away. That's who I am. And frankly, that's who I think we all are as Detroiters, as Michiganders. We stand up to bullies. We fight for each other, and we don't let anyone take our voices away. So for me, if I can be a state leader that lives that value, that shows alongside so many of folks in the state that who we are people who stand up for each other and our rights and our freedoms, if I can be that as a governor, sign me up. That's the work that I want to do. My heroes are the folks who put their lives on the line in the civil rights movement so that we could live in a country that lived up to those promises of equal justice for all in our Constitution. And it requires all of us, as John Lewis says, to stand up every generation to fight for those rights and freedoms. And so it's an honor to do it, to play a small part in that work today, knowing that the eyes of those who came before us are on us now, and also knowing the eyes of my son, my 10-year-old little boy who I'm raising here in Detroit. His eyes are on us too. The young people who will inherit what we leave behind, they're looking to us to fight for them as well. So I'm proud to be part of that fight, and I'm proud to be living in a city that's full of people who have that same grit and drive and fight as well, because that's actually what it's going to take our country, our democracy out of this challenging time.
And Jocelyn, I would like to ask you a little bit about the position of governor and what is it?
Sorry to interrupt here, but we've got time for one more question. Apologies.
Okay. Thank you. And I'd like to ask you for one more question. What it entails to be governor, like how that works, and how you represent the people. Because the biggest thing we want to do here at the Sunday Chronicle is we want to inform the community about these positions and how the public servants work for us, how we can get in touch with you, and how you represent us.
Well, I think in the 2026 election, voters will face a choice. Who does Michigan and who do Michigan's leaders work for? The wealthy and the powerful, Donald Trump, or the people? And for me, the answer is simple. As governor, I will work for you, the people. I will work every day to ensure that every Michigander, every Detroiter knows, no matter what party they belong to, no matter where you live, that I work for you, that I'll work to ensure, just as I have my entire life, that the power of the people will be greater than the people in power. And I want to, for example, what that means is taking every dollar in our state budget and asking, is this going to make someone's life better? Is this going to drive down costs? Is this going to grow our economy? Is this going to increase wages? As governor, I'll have 3 fundamental jobs: driving down costs, growing our economy and increasing access to jobs, and standing up to corruption so that we can protect the people in our communities who have been hurt by a broken system for far too long. That means reforming how we're going to build homes so that everyone can afford to buy a home in the communities where they work. It means investing in public education to build a world-class system that prepares our young people for the jobs of tomorrow. And I'll work with anyone to get this done, but I also have no patience for those who try to stand in the way of this on behalf of their wealthy donors or corporations or their own greed. We need a governor who will stand up for the people to anyone, and I'm the only one running for governor with a track record and commitment to doing just that.
Well, Jocelyn, I want to thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your perspective, a little bit about you. We appreciate you and the service that you have committed to with running for public office and serving as in your current position. So we want to thank you, and we welcome you to come back anytime.
Yes, I'd love to come back and continue the conversation, not just in the months leading up to Election Day, but if we're successful after that as well. I'm grateful for all you guys do to inform the community and look forward to talking again soon.
Before we close up today, I would like to thank all my listeners and followers for being here once again, bright and early on the Sunday Chronicle. And my co-host, Span, thanks again for just helping and doing everything you do to make this happen, Span.
You're so welcome, Jan. Oh, I turned off my microphone. You're so welcome, Yanice. I appreciate everything you ask of me. I don't know if that's the right way to... I don't know. My words are failing me right now.
Look, I've had something going on. with my speech and my brain, it's like scrambled eggs up there today. So, no, maybe it's something in the air. Is it the wildfires? I don't know.
It probably is. That's why I'm wearing a mask, because it's ridiculous out there. But yes, you're welcome, and thank you in part.
Yes, and we're going to sign off, but not before. I would like to say thank you for tuning in to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Yanice Carter, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for community because community knows what community needs. Make it a great day.